I've had a lot coming up over the past couple of weeks with clients and in personal experiences, which seems to go hand in hand. This is the beauty of the interconnection, the oneness frequency, the reciprocity in this work, and how this soul mission just refines me. And when people are saying to me, "Thank you so much, this was amazing, I'm noticing this, I'm healing," and just expressing gratitude, I am shifting into a place of receptivity with that. Before, I think there was a little bit of wounded energy that made it difficult for me to fully accept that gratitude. And I'd be like, no, 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 it's okay. It's not me, it's the divine, etc. And so now I know my ability to receive that gratitude is a gift, and that is sacred. And so I do both of those things. I receive it. I receive the gratitude and hold it and say, "You are so welcome." And it is equally a gift to me to be able to do this work. I am constantly, as much as people think that I am giving or providing, because this is my passion and I'm in soul calling and in alignment with my purpose in terms of this higher path, the divine plan, the energy exchange is at such a level of reciprocity that I almost wish I had a different word that is of like a higher essence than saying reciprocity, in the boundless nature of blessing, blessings and miracles that seem to be unfolding and pouring down as I walk this path. So getting to the point, boundaries. um, yes, people have asked and been processing through how to hold themselves and break patterns of codependency, people pleasing, shrinking themselves out of trauma histories or fawning response, history, patterning, lineage of internalized sexism that, as a female, I think when you view that, what puts us in a position of, it's hard for me to use my voice to empower myself because I have these echoes that extend not just from your human lived experience in this childhood, but heritage, energetic frequency of this lineage that continues to kind of vibrate through, that many of the people who I think are incarnated now and forevermore, like this is a relay race, right? But the cycle breaking, the intergenerational trauma, the reclamation that is happening as we step into this new earth energy is really calling this to the table. And it's not something we can teeter totter through. It is requiring this sacred balance that allows a pulling together of both of the things, so that we aren't continuing to be fragmented and separated into this duality of, I'm either empowered and in my divinity, or I'm feeling small and triggered in my trauma history or my humanness. How do we pull those things in to, I had an EMDR session where the person was doing a lot of higher level experiencing through the EMDR, which was amazing, like understanding of pre birth experiences and consciousness visuals, mind blowing things. And there was this sentiment of the peace that is felt and the truth that is experienced when they are on the other side, and the contrast to the energies and the density that can be felt in humanness, and the sense of I remember returning and experiencing that relief, peace, awe, divinity. And I have this understanding that in this lifetime, I'm not meant to return to it in order to experience it. I'm meant to be able to embody that, experience that while I am embodied, rather than a having to wait until returning to source energy to experience my divinity. All right, I might need to put this little part out because I'm like, okay, where was I going with that? Okay, the integration. How do we embody divinity? We can't kick the humanness out of the equation in order to do that. It needs to be such this divine partnership and collaboration of our human vessel in order to free ourselves from the limiting beliefs that perpetuate that smallness, to make space for the truth of our expansive eternal identity. And this is all big, weighty stuff, it feels like to me, that I hope I can ground down into some examples with boundary setting here. So stay with me. Okay. So you've seen a personal example of this. Even at this point in my journeying, my spiritual access, if you'll call it that, has really changed over the last, since my ascension, since my spiritual awakening started about 7 years ago, maybe more at this point. Anyhow, it's been a steady, unfurling, beautiful process that I have really fostered and practiced to refine. And my ability to have my spiritual gifts, ability to see, receive, communicate more fluidly instead of having it feel choppy and more like Morse code as it did toward the beginning, has gone hand in hand with my healing journey, my own personal shadow work and integration and healing, so that my frequency, my own frequency that is embodied here, has shifted higher and higher up that Hawkins scale of emotional frequency. And I have less density that allows my spiritual gifts to come online more and more. And I continue to learn and be humbled and empowered all at the same time with this sacred dance of this human body and identity, learning, opening, I'll say not learning, clearing out space to allow for my oversoul, my divine identity to pour into this vessel more and more. And neither can push out the other. This is a collaboration, and that doesn't even do it justice, does it? Sacred dance, I'll say. And so when it comes to setting personal boundaries, I have my own things that can be triggered there, of course, and I forever will. I forever will. There will never be a time where my humanness is has left this vessel. Like, I am a human. This is about integration and embodiment as this new earth energy and alignment to my first identity is the one of divinity. And there's also compassion and space holding from that part of me when my human things come up. And so this happened recently as a request was made that in my personal life that triggered a sense of some old patterning from human places and programming in me that can feel like I'm trapped, I'm small, I need to people please, and I am, quote, mean if I don't, or I am responsible for the other person's negative feelings if I don't comply, breaking out of these self-limiting beliefs that I have internalized. It's my responsibility to notice that. And and I did. And I set the boundary to honor myself while I also noticed a whole lot of energy moving around in my body that was screaming to me, you're feeling really triggered and small. And I was like, yes, I'm seeing 11:11 on this one clock I have over here as I say that, which is not the accurate time. It's actually like 11:51, but that's always the proper divine time, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, I said that, but I also was afterward noticing I don't like how I'm feeling. What is this? What is this? And it's not about the other person, it's about me. This is a sign. This is showing me something. And so I actually, right afterward had the ability to think of it in that way of, okay, Miranda, what is coming up here? What is this showing you about your relationship to yourself? What is this telling you about some energy you still have inside of here that is not sitting well with you and you? It's in between me and me. This is about me. It's not about the other person, it's about me, right? And that is the ability for me to find this integration. I'm like, okay, you're feeling really small. Here's where this is coming from. Source it a little bit, sit with it, and then I invited in some space, not from my human mind, but from the ability to channel for myself and call in my guides and spirit team. Give me a little bit on this. And the information was about the guidance was, would you feel too small to hold space and protection and honoring of God if God was right next to you? No, I wouldn't. I would do that easily, undoubtedly, hands down, naturally, smoothly, all the things, right? Where is God, Miranda? How do you have access to God, right? I am made of God energy. It is within me, the altar within. This is how I'm able to connect with God. Elements of God energy and that light source is housed in this vessel. And then I heard Fortress Magdalene. And I looked that up and found out some cool information that Mary Magdalene had a home that was a castle and it was a fortress. Magdala is a word, and I'm not going to say in what language because I know I'll mess up with the pronunciation, but Magdala translates to mean fortress. And I thought, oh, feels a little easier when I can feel that I'm much bigger than the human experience and the patterning and whatever it was that was triggered, and I'm not discounting that. I'm pulling it in. Once I feel that empowerment from remembrance of what I'm housing here in this vessel, then there's some compassion and self-love that allows that human smallness to be integrated, right? And so it's between, hold on, myself and me, this divine understanding and perspective of truth of who I am and what I hold inside here. And this, I feel really small, and these limiting beliefs and these internalized things are my own cages, which my human mind is keeping me trapped inside of, and I'm not liking. And we're not fighting. Once this part comes online, it goes, come here, sweetheart. And I am held in that unconditional love of high frequency. That's transmutation. This is alchemy, right? I get a little help from my friends. There's like a song like that. I get by with a little help from my friends. I'm like, yes, thank you. Beautiful. From that place, it's so much smoother, easier, natural to set the boundary that is self honoring and loving, respectful. I can do that in a way that feels like it holds sacred energy and grace. If I am from my human smallness energy and I didn't transmute that, that could have ended up more reactionary, right? Because you see the equal and opposite effects of energy and physics there. If I'm small like that and I'm trying to set a boundary, I'm going to accidentally overcompensate. And this is, I'm stuck inside of an illusion that I am this wounded dog in the corner that's been kicked. And so I'm going to growl at you. And that's not me. I don't want to growl, right? But when I function from truth of, I think there's something in scripture. I'm not religious and I don't have memory from my human mind of anything biblical. And so I just get it like source and then later I look it up to see what it is. So somebody who knows, feel free to drop it in the comments. But I think there's something around this notion of the armor that is provided to me through the truth and the light of God that is not comparable to the weapons that man from smallness would pick up, right? And from that place, I move with boundary setting and ability to hold up this sacred fortress.